Okay, folks, let's just get straight to it. For people watching this debate last night through the usual prism, through the standard inside the Beltway, insider, establishment, elite circles, if you watch the debate with that as your life experience, with that defining your expectations, and that defining your analysis and commentary, Hillary Clinton won this debate in a knockout. If that's how you watch these things, and that's how the drive-bys see it, that's how party officials see it, that's how elected officials see it, that is how people inside the Beltway, in the business of politics, saw the debate last night. Overall, at the end of the night, most people don't want to say it, but Hillary Clinton won in a knockout. The drive-bys all think so, and so do many others. Why? Well, because Hillary was a perfect insider Washington politician. She spoke in robotic devotion to the meaningless political prattling going on and on about her plan for this and her plan for that, and this plan over here, and all of the experts who've looked at her plan and say it's the best plan, and all the experts that have looked at his plan and say it's the worst plan. And then we got the obligatory takedown of trickle-down economics for about the gazillionth time in 30 years. We got the obligatory takedown of the rich aren't paying their fair share for I don't know how many umpteenth million times Democrat politicians have been preaching that in the last 30 years. It was boring. It was robotic. It was almost, for especially the first 20 minutes, Hillary Clinton was blindsided. She didn't know what had hit her, maybe the first 30 minutes. She looked out of it. She looked rattled. She looked like she wasn't prepared for the way Trump was behaving and what Trump had to say. She was totally programmed. She was programmed to wait for openings either provided by Trump or provided by Lester Holt. She was waiting for memorized zingers to be implemented and used. She was exactly what people are fed up with in terms of the insider nature of Washington politics, the professional politician aspect of Washington politics. Insincere. Say it because it sounds good. Don't say who you really are. By all means, don't announce what you're really for. Never get into any specifics. All you do is try to character assassinate your opponent using the assistance of the moderator. We knew all of this going in. The question is that how people, voters, saw this last night? I'll take you back to the Republican primaries. Donald Trump in the Republican primary debates was just like he was last night. And after every Republican primary debate, all of these people in the establishment, the elites, the ruling class, inside Washington politics, the professional politicians, you name them, after every debate, people were shocked and embarrassed and angry and thought Trump had just finally destroyed himself. And after each debate, everybody was shocked to learn that Trump had not done that. That Trump was continuing to build his momentum. He was continuing to attract new voters in defiance of everything the insiders consider to be common sense. And last night, Trump was who he was. There are many Trump supporters, I don't know many, some Trump supporters angry that he didn't seem to take it more seriously and to end up being more prepared. I get into, pitch by pitch analysis of this in just a second. I mean, he swung and missed at a bunch of hanging curveballs last night. And it was frustrating to all kinds of people, particularly on his side, who really wanted him to take her out last night and just be done with this. There were people hoping that she wouldn't be able to remain vertical for 90 minutes. The fact they pulled that off disappointed people. I even had somebody say, Mike, have they made her look like Margaret Thatcher? Can you believe they hate Margaret Thatcher? And look how they had her hair and her makeup. The way people watch these things is fascinating to me. I was peppered, as you can imagine. I had the world emailing me last night with their thoughts. And I can't describe for you the overwhelming pessimism that I was greeted with last night by Trump supporters who thought, oh my God, they were so hepped up, they were so jazzed, they were so ready, and then they said they ended up being so disappointed. And I think people are continuing to make what apparently is an unavoidable mistake. You cannot look at this debate as you would look at Romney versus Obama, or Bush versus Kerry, or Bush versus Gore, or Hillary versus Bernie, or Hillary versus Obama. Trump changes all of that. Here you have a 30 years in public life. By the way, I was very honored last night that Trump used my point a couple of times, that she's been in public life 30 years, and what is there to show for it? She has been complaining and whining about the same things for 30 years. The rich are not paying their fair share. Trickle-down economics doesn't work. You name it. This woman's been complaining about it for 30 years and promising to fix it for 30 years. And here we are 30 years later, and it's just like it's her first day in public life where she's announcing everything she's going to do. What has she accomplished in these 30 years? Literally diddly squat, other than goofing up and messing up, for the most part, what she touches. There were ample opportunities for that to be pointed out last night. Trump got some of them, and he missed others. If I had to offer a singular criticism of Trump, and by the way, let me say at the outset, I don't think that this changed anything last night in terms of stopping Trump's momentum. He did not commit the giant gaffe or faux pas that would make his supporters rethink it. Nothing like that happened. He might have left them wanting more, but he didn't disappoint them. So there was no great shift in momentum last night, nothing of such magnitude that would cause anybody to rethink on Trump's side what he's doing. And in fact, to prove my point that people see this and are looking at this in totally different ways than the political professionals, and even average Americans who pay attention to politics all the time, you can't avoid the way the drive-bys look at this. That's what the news is every day. And so it's easy to get caught up in this. But people don't see Trump the way they see insider politicians. And they're not judging Trump that way. They're not judging Trump on debate points. They're not judging Trump on knowledge here, knowledge there. They're not judging Trump on the standard ways we measure traditional Washington politicians. How much have they got done? How much do they say they're going to do? How much are their promises worth? He's not judged that way. He represents something entirely different, especially in the eyes of his supporters. You realize how much shock there is? And by the way, this is almost a replica of the Republican primaries. You can find stories all over this country where large and small news organizations assemble focus groups of anywhere from 12 to 42 people. In the vast majority of them, Trump was judged to be the winner, and even some Hillary voters had said, I can't vote for her after this. Trump, in a lot of places in this country, in a lot of focus groups sponsored by drive-by media outlets, actually appears to have gained support. Nobody watching that debate last night will possibly understand that. Nobody will be able to make sense of it because they don't know. They still haven't, after almost, well, it's over a year now, they still haven't learned to analyze and judge Trump's support base, who they are, and why they support him. They continue to make the mistake of not studying it, not analyzing it, not figuring it out, and of such plugging Trump into the system they are accustomed to and comfortable with, and proclaiming him to be a failure in it. Well, he's not a 30-year career politician. He doesn't have a 30-year career political record. He doesn't have a 30-year experience of running for office and being in debates or any of that, and yet he's being judged the same way they would judge Hillary Clinton or anybody else who's been in that business for 30 years, and they're making a very grave tactical error doing so. Because that's how they conclude that Trump got snookered. They conclude that Trump was embarrassingly defeated last night, and it may have been the beginning of the end. And they couldn't be more wrong. And they're going to be shocked and stunned, more than likely, when they find out, the next series of polls come out, that this did not hurt Trump, and in fact, did not stop his momentum. They're going to be scratching their heads like they have been scratching their heads about Trump since he got into the race. It's amazing how some of this is beginning to play out exactly as did it during the Republican primaries. Now, it was a given going in, a lot of people given going in that Hillary was going to win in traditional debate points. And here's why it was a given. She's done it before. That's how she studies and prepares, and winning in debate points in the business of politics is a must. And that's how you study and prepare, and that's how you want to be judged when it's over. Well, there's no question she was going to be judged the winner by people on her side in the drive-by media and from the moderator. They were going to proclaim her everything they want her to be. More experienced, more knowledgeable, all of that, which doesn't matter a hill of beans to a sizable portion of people in this country. The question is, we don't know how many, and it will be defined and determined for us on November 8th on Election Day. But I maintain to you that a majority of people watching last night were not watching to see who won in traditional debate ways. The people interested in this presidential election are not judging what they saw last night the way media spinmeisters are going to judge this and spin it. I'll give you an example. One of the early themes of the post-debate analysis last night, no matter where you went, Fox News, CNN, PMSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, wherever you went, one of the early narratives was, oh my God, I can't believe how much Trump was on the defensive. Oh my God, did you see what happened? That's the last thing any of us ever expected. It's very tough to recover, Carl. Very tough to recover, Brian. This is them talking to each other. Being on the defensive, it was so easy. Hillary put him on defense the whole debate. After the first 20 minutes, she owned it. She has inside his head and had him twisting and reeling, and he was doing nothing but defending himself. Now, that's not what happened, though. Well, it may be what happened. It's not how it was seen. I don't expect to be listened to on this, but what the drive-bys and the people who create these narratives don't understand, Trump, when they see Trump on defense, when they see Trump in a defensive posture, his supporters see Trump attacking. His supporters see Trump defending in ways the Republican Party hasn't in a long time. They see Trump standing up for them. They see Trump standing up for himself. They see Trump standing up against Hillary and throwing it right back at her. It may look like he's defensive to these inside the politics Beltway pros, but to Trump supporters, he's on the attack. The first 20, 30 minutes of this debate last night, she literally looked blindsided. First 20, 30 minutes, it's key. The whole debate matters too, but the first 20, 30 minutes are key. She was blindsided. She looked totally deer in the headlight eyes frequently. She looked unprepared. She was speaking in robotic ways. Trump was criticizing her and attacking her in ways the Republican Party hasn't gone after a Democrat, particularly the Clintons, ever. And the reason there is frustration aimed at Trump today is because people wished he would have continued doing so throughout the entire debate. As I say, 2 or 3 hanging curveballs Trump sent out a tweet at the end of the debate complaining that he was noticing there's no big questions on Benghazi, on the Clinton Foundation speeches to the banks. That's right, Donald. You're supposed to bring that up yourself. You don't wait for the topic. You don't wait for the question to be asked. You bring it up. Benghazi, it was a hanging curveball. The Clinton Crime Family Foundation, a hanging curveball, earning $20 million in 2 years, doing speeches to banks at $250,000 a pop. It was hanging curveball. It was right there, whether Lester Holt mentioned or not. I also don't have a lot of patience for people complaining about Lester Holt, because I told you going in this was going to happen. Everybody knew it. Lester was under pressure from the drive-bys to fact check. That just means put his opinion in there. We had no doubt about it that Lester Holt was going to opinionate. We had no doubt. He's a drive-by media anchor. He's a Democrat Party hack in disguise as a journalist. They all are. Everybody from Trump to his team to should have known that Lester Holt was going to make it tougher on Trump than he was going to do on Hillary. There weren't any surprises last night. Nobody should have been blindsided by what happened at all. You get mad at it. You get frustrated. You shouldn't be surprised. The drive-by media is who they are. Lester Holt's who he is. Debate moderators do what they do in these circumstances. And there's two more. There are two more of these. Trump's only going to get better at it. Mark my words. And Hillary still has to get through two more.